Hey, greetings, and welcome to Sunday Rants. And we're going to get in it today and just go over a couple of items in the news. And what I want to do is talk a little bit about, I think a lot of us remember last year we had a case here in La Mesa, and we had a La Mesa cop that accosted a citizen, young black gentleman sitting at the trolley for an alleged crime of smoking in public. Matthew Dages, Dages, 30, was the cop. And what he did is he arrested 23-year-old Amari Johnson, basically on just bullshit charges, really. I think the charges were resisting arrest, which is a common charge, right? And some other loitering or some violation of public rule or something. And what happened was it was a pretty violent act by the cop. And what happened was he was put on administrative leave, then eventually terminated. And finally, months, almost a year later, the district attorney, Summer Stefan, the County of San Diego's elected official, finally decided to charge the cop with filing a false police report. Just reading the story that was put out recently was that, and it was charged as a felony. There's a couple of questions. First of all, the district attorney, Summer Stefan, said, when someone in a position of trust, such as a police officer, commits a crime, it causes tremendous harm and shakes the community's confidence in those who are sworn to protect them. Yeah, like duh, right? Everyone is accountable under the law. And as we've done previously, no, you haven't done it previously, we will file criminal charges when they're supported by facts and evidence. Facts and evidence that you don't cover up. My office, Special Operations Division, which is not independent, by the way, of specialized prosecutors and investigators, specialized, is dedicated to the principles of conducting fair, thorough, and independent reviews of public corruption, police misconduct, and the goal of enhancing public trust. Notice she didn't talk about prosecutorial misconduct. The complete press release can be found up on our website at sundayrants.com. It looks like the complaint alleged that on May 28th of 2020, Officer Matthew Dages, Dages, 30, age 30, filed a police report that contained false information. He's accused of falsifying the reason for Johnson's detention. It wasn't a detention, it was an arrest, as well as his actions. He's charged with one felony count of filing a false report. You know, what I'd like to know is why wasn't he charged for assault and battery, false arrest, deprivation of civil rights, and it looks like the young man has hired an attorney and is going to be suing the city of La Mesa, and hopefully this cop as well. Apparently the nothing's changed here in La Mesa. I mean, this is only one that got caught on camera. What about all the ones that we don't see that have happened and that happen all the time? There was another news story up on our website at sundayrants.com that you might want to look at, and that's the San Diego County Sheriff's Department growing problem with the use of excessive force. You think? Look, this problem is rampant throughout San Diego County and every other jurisdiction in the country. And This is part of the whole problem that we've been talking about. We've got another article up there on 5 cops that were recently caught planting evidence against innocent victims. In one case of those 5 crooked cops, more than I think more than 50 people had already been convicted based on false evidence being planted on those 50 victims. That's just one of those 5 cops. And I think the point that I'm trying to make here is there's just dozens and hundreds of these cases, and finally we're starting to get more and more of them out to the public about how bad the police departments across the country, here in San Diego County, the state of California, all states really are. The racist practices, the excessive force, the violation of civil rights. Hopefully we're going to have a lot more people with cameras taking a lot more video and a lot more lawsuits suing these cities and these cops and getting rid of their immunity. If the district attorney, with all due respect, would like to do something to show that she's actually serious about reforms in San Diego County, let's appoint a independent counsel investigator to do oversight, and let's start looking at the last 5 years of convictions that her office has championed in misdemeanor and felony cases. And let's have a post-conviction review board independent of the district attorney's jurisdiction. And let's investigate the prosecutorial misconduct that goes on in her own office. If you want to get all the rats out of the woodpile, let's go to where the woodpile really is. The DA's office, the courts, the investigators, the lying expert witnesses, and the lying cops who plant evidence. Let's start there. The sheriff's department is no better in all of these jurisdictions. The problem is how we police in America and how we have protected these cops from by giving them immunity and prosecutors with absolute immunity. They have no consequence. And until we change that, none of this shit's going to ever change. And so I think it's incumbent upon all of us to do something more than just read the news stories and watch the videos. We've got to get more involved. We've got to get our local churches, our local community, civil rights leaders involved. And we've got to look at the entire system, the jury system, the court system, the corruption of the judges, the prosecutors, all of them need a complete revamping. I think we should have a standing grand jury made up of citizens. That's where the grand jury is called from, whose job is to solely investigate not only police misconduct and excessive force cases, but prosecutorial and judicial misconduct. And let's call on the California Bar Association, those pinheads, and start getting them to start weeding out these attorneys that work at the prosecutor's office and the city attorney's office that have situational ethics and no moral compass in terms of the job that they do, because they're all corrupt until they actually can show transparency and can actually do something that is meaningful in reform. The way that I can always tell that a politician is lying is when they open their mouth and start talking and they start backpedaling. And that's one good way that we can at least start showing that they're serious about reforms. Until then, Summer Stefan and the city attorney and all of these people have no credibility with the public, with me, or anybody in the public, because they're not serious. These are superficial, shut your mouth, here's a cookie, go home and mind your own business platitudes that have no substance of real reform or real teeth. if you want to have real consequence and real reform, take away the immunity, pierce the unions to keep protecting these dirty cops, basically criminal gangs that have badges and guns, that are planting evidence, suborning perjury, lying in their police reports. She charged him with one count of filing a false police report as a felony. She forgot to charge him with assault and battery. Just go on my website and watch the video. Definitely assault and battery. And what about deprivation of his civil rights, false arrest, and all of that? Those can all be charged as crimes, but she chose to only charge him with one crime. Now he's entitled to his day in court and a presumption of innocence. The video is pretty damning if you watch it and listen to him. I mean, the guy's a racist. And how is it that these people get through? What kind of screening process do we have that we let these kind of people get a badge and a gun? They take less than 6 months of training. You got to have like 9 or 10 months or more to do somebody's hair and nails, and yet you have less than that. You can put on a badge and carry a gun and deprive somebody of their civil liberties, and falsely accuse them and falsely arrest them. If it wasn't for the video, that poor son of a bitch would probably still be in jail. And that's the truth. And if she was interested in real reform, we'd start with her office and start investigating independently of her jurisdiction the corruption that goes on in her own office. And that's all I've got to say about that. Let's go back on to the issue of jury nullification. And again, I want to encourage you to make sure that you're doing whatever you can to find out if your name is on the jury roster to be called for jury duty. And the thing that I believe that we've got to start doing is getting a lot more direct and a lot more confrontational in our tactics and our strategies, getting on juries and refusing to convict in these cases, because the cops do lie. They plant evidence, the investigators lie, and the prosecutors cover it up. This demonstration by the DA in this one case, what about the hundreds of other cases in the last couple of years here in San Diego that have gone unaddressed? They've all been filed, I think nearly 300 just in the last 2 years. And less than 6, I think, anything ever happened. And the most that happened was maybe resignations. This is pathetic. They police their own and they protect their own. And they've got to have oversight that is independent, that they have no control over. So something the equivalent of an independent counsel that can give the kind of oversight. They have grand jury power, they have subpoena power, and start pulling back the sheets of all of this secrecy and these confidentiality agreements. And let's start seeing all of the complaints, and let's start seeing everything that people are complaining about. Until they're willing to show more transparency, and until they're willing to be policed by independent people that aren't under their political control, nobody is going to have any confidence that they're serious about any kind of reform. So contact your local county board of supervisor, tell them that this is bullshit, that the district attorney is bullshit. And if she was serious about reform, she would do some of the things that we've been calling for some time. And more to the point, when you're on a jury, and the judge tells you you have to take an oath to follow the law, frankly, you can take the oath, but you don't have to follow the law. If you don't agree with the law, or you don't agree with how it's being applied or who it's being applied to, or you think the cop's a liar, or the evidence might have been planted, you don't have to listen to any of that. You can just vote not guilty. There's nothing that the judge can do to direct your verdict or require a special verdict. So maybe keep your head down, your mouth shut, and just vote not guilty. And until we start actually fighting back and using the tools that we have as citizens. It's we the people and the consent of the governed that allow these people to be in power and have the authority that they have, but we also reserve the right to take it back. And one of the last checks and balances in a criminal trial is you sitting on a jury and deciding that you're not going to uphold the law. You just can't trust this justice system. You can't trust cops. Just go to my website. You'll see hundreds and hundreds of these cases. Cops plant evidence every day. Investigators lie every day. They file false reports every day, make false arrests every day. They do it every day. And until they clean their own house, we are not obligated as citizens to do anything coming close to upholding the law, because you don't know everything that they haven't told us in terms of what is going on with that cop from the time of the arrest to all the way to the time that the charges were filed. And the prosecutors concealing evidence and withholding evidence and covering up what the bad cops are doing is even worse. And the people that are in those positions that know this is going on and remain silent and do nothing, they're just as guilty. So it's all a bunch of bullshit. It's all a bunch of corruption and bullshit. And until we start fighting back with the tools that we have, getting on the jury and refusing to convict, educating our friends, our neighbors, our relatives, everybody that we have this power, nothing is going to change. Everything that they're telling us is bullshit. I've been in this movement for over 40 years, and I can tell you it's worse now than it was 4 decades ago. They were saying the same bullshit 40 years ago that they're saying now. When Ed Miller was the district attorney in San Diego County, that guy was a tyrant. And good thing that he's gone. But it hasn't gotten any better. And it's not going to get any better until we stand up and decide that we're not going to tolerate racist cops, racist investigators, this whole system is just bullshit. And if you're black or brown and you're caught up in the just us system, you're screwed. You probably have very little chance of getting the fact that you think you're going to get a fair trial. You have the better chance of winning the lotto twice in 1 week than you do of getting a fair trial in San Diego County or almost anywhere else in this country. So my recommendation, educate yourself, go to our website, look at the resources that we have. We're going to have a bunch of other tools that we're going to be putting up there here pretty soon. Every day we're updating that website and giving you more insight, more videos, more stories that you can follow and that you can watch. There's a whole bunch here in San Diego that we're working on right now, going on, more police abuse, more police misconduct. And we've got to let people know that the problem is getting worse, not better. Nothing has changed in 30, 40 years, and nothing's going to change until we draw a line and hold them accountable in the place where it happens. The prosecutor's office, the investigators, and the police all need to be under very, very tight scrutiny. You shouldn't go out of your house without a body cam. I got this cool, about 2 of these body cams. Patrol Master, this is kind of like some of the cops use. Just strap that on. You can record up to 8 hours, and night vision when you go out in public, and especially if you are encountered by any government official, especially a cop, turn on your body cam because you're going to need it. You can't trust anything that's going on anymore. And we live in a society right now where we have no confidence in the police or the just us system. Get a hold of Summer Stefan, the county DA here in San Diego, and tell her with all due respect, bullshit. We don't believe her. And until she has independent investigation of her own office and does more to charge cops, this guy should have been charged with at least 3 or 4 other felonies besides filing a false police report. If he gets a fair trial and found guilty, he should do at least the 3 years that he's facing. in prison because that's bullshit. He arrested somebody falsely and deprived them of their liberty. What about all the people? Look at the one organization that we've got on our website. Nearly 3,000 people, just one organization, were all exonerated. On average, they all spent an average of 9.5 years in prison. Who's going to give them back their time? Juries convicted those people, and it was all false evidence. It was all bullshit. They were innocent. Who's going to give them back their 9.5 years of life? Nobody. So that's what we're facing, and it's an epidemic. It's so bad. It just happens everywhere. So yeah, we don't have any confidence in the police or the just us system, and until they clean their own damn house, they can just shut the hell up and quit telling us about reforms because they're not serious. All right, that's what I've got to say for this Sunday on Sunday Rants. Tell me what you think. Send me an email, james@sundayrants.com. Go to my Facebook, join my group. I think we've got almost 1,000 people now in our group. We're looking forward to some new stuff that we'll be coming up with, updating you on what we're doing out on the street every day to hold these crooks with badges accountable. And if you've got news stories or you've got a story that you want us to share, get a hold of me. Again, james@sundayrants.com. Other than that, take care. Have an awesome week, and we'll see you next Sunday on Sunday Rants. Take care.